When you enter the Exiled Lands, one of the first beasts you're likely to encounter is the Imp. These gross little creatures seem like just a standard low-level monster, and I thought the same for years. However, there's far more to these things than you may initially think. Years before our time in the Exiled Lands, an unnamed man laid camp on the ridge north of the summoning place. We know absolutely nothing about who he was, but given that the Brythunian language journal is found nearby, we can assume he was likely from Brythunia, a land that seems to be roughly analogous for medieval Germany, Poland or Lithuania. His bleached bones lay in the sand, and if the additional bones in the fire are any indication, it seems those he were watching may have discovered his camp. Around the site are 3 scouting reports which detail the scouts' notes from watching the Darfari at the summoning place below. For the topic of our investigation today, the first scouting notes on the left side of his camp will be quite instructive. I have studied these wretched creatures from afar. Cannibals as they may be, they are not completely devoid of intelligence. Through rituals best left undescribed, they have concocted a powder that corrupts absolutely. They use this powder in their own cauldrons and force it on their own kind. While I cannot hear the ramblings from my hiding spot, it is clear to me they use this to punish their fellow clansmen. I saw one of them transform into a monster. A small, fat, fetid and wretched creature with red skin. It ran away from the cauldron and exploded. The Imps were indeed human. Once members of the Darfari tribe, their own kind used a strange powder to transform them into these stumbling, deformed creatures. Subsequent notes at the scouting camp add even more detail to the experiments of the Darfari. In the second scouting report, the scout notes another vile experiment. The Darfari below dragged a number of their kin from the nearby camps to the summoning place, where they were met by a cauldron of bubbling liquid. One tried to escape and was cut down by her captors, and in her dying moments overturned the cauldron and sprayed the bubbling liquid inside over the rest. Their flesh burned from their bones, yet they did not perish. They stood paralysed as they melted away into living skeletons, and the next day they moved and walked as if still living. The undead Darfari camps surrounding the sinkhole, filled with the ossified remnants of their once living tribe, seem to have been created by the Darfari in the summoning place. The final note details one more experiment. The Darfari lugged a large pot of strange liquid over to the sinkhole, pouring it out onto the undead dragon below. A mighty flame shot from the ground and engulfed the cannibals, causing them to stumble and fall into the hole. The undead dragon would roar for hours until it quickly ceased at nightfall. Whatever the Darfari attempted to do to the undead dragon, the scout cannot be sure if it was successful. These 3 notes, written by the long-dead Brythunian scout, make sense of a few things. The Imps are our primary focus today, but the strange tribal science described inside adds a lot of flavour to the Darfari in general. On the surface, they seem like a primitive cannibal tribe, but as you delve more into them, more of their culture is revealed. We already know they have a deep and established tradition around their worship of Yog and their witch doctor masks, but these notes from the scout add an almost scientific aspect to the Darfari, something that I found super interesting. For our old foes, the Imps, they are ultimately deformed humans, punished by their own kin. We do not know what that strange powder was that the Darfari used to transform them into mindless, wretched creatures that barely resemble their once human form. Knowing the Darfari can achieve such a feat, to reduce a man to a demonic beast, one must truly wonder what other marvels, or indeed horrors, the Darfari could cook up. And there we have it, a bit of a shorter lore video today, but a member of my Discord and long-time patron let me know about these lore notes, and I found them really interesting. I hope you enjoy learning about the true nature of Conan's Imps as much as I did. Thank you for watching, and a massive thanks to our wonderful, esteemed coffee cultists for continuing to support the channel over on Patreon. If you want to support the channel yourself, check out the Patreon through a link in the description or pinned comment, or join here as a member on YouTube by clicking join just below this video. Take care, and I'll see you soon.